All right, so it's been about a year, a little bit over a year, since Cold Steel was sold, since Lynn Thompson sold Cold Steel to GSM. And I kind of want to go over how it's gone this year with Cold Steel. So let's get into this.
Please hold, please hold, please hold, please hold, please hold.
It's my pleasure to present Jimislash.
Okay, so about a year ago, I did a couple videos, did a bunch of videos regarding Cold Steel being sold to GSM and what Lynn Thompson was doing. And I will admittedly, I went kind of chicken little, was kind of worried about stuff and how it was going to go. So what I want to do is kind of look over this past year. It's kind of went by fast this year. And just kind of review what Cold Steel's done well, what Cold Steel's done right, what they've done wrong, what they can improve on, and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to start with where they could improve, and then I'm going to go from there. And I think when everybody realizes that they still need some improvements on customer service. And customer service, even before they sold, was not a huge strong point for Cold Steel. But at the beginning of the sale, it was pretty bad. You couldn't get in touch with them. You couldn't reach them by phone. And it was just really difficult to have any kind of concerns or address your concerns with the people at Cold Steel and their customer service. So now they're working with people and replacing knives. There's a lot of complaints about how they're not, sending out parts and stuff. And a lot of people are just getting new knives instead of like a part. And that's kind of an issue. Like, if I wouldn't want to get rid of this knife has a lot of like sentimental meaning to me. So if I had to replace a screw and they couldn't come up with it, I think that would be an issue. If they just said, hey, let's give you a new S35VN American Lawman, I wouldn't take it. This means something to me. So I can understand it from that point. At least they're trying in that way. But I think there's still some improvements to be made in their customer service and how they're dealing with customers. I think a lot of that has to do with the next thing we're going to talk about, and that is a lot of the 2021 stuff that was supposed to be coming out has not been available yet. And that's a lot of like the bigger 3V knives and let's see, I printed up the whole list of what 2021 shows. So if you hear some paper rattling, that's me. So like I think the Recon Scout and 3V just came out, maybe. I haven't seen one yet, but then there was, let's see here, the Natchez Bowie. I haven't seen one of those. And then I don't know if anybody has the Arkansas Toothpick. I haven't seen one of those in anybody's hands. Let's see. But anyways, I'm talking about these 3V blades that they could have, and I don't know if that's because of COVID or supply chain issues or what's going on there. I'm not deep enoughly embedded in the country to find out what's going on, or in the company to find out what's up with that. So did the Master Tanto and 3V come out? So there's a bunch of stuff that needs to come out that we're still waiting on, the fans. So that's kind of, so in customer service, to grade them, I'd give them a D right now. I'd really like to see that come up. We don't know if it's going to. GSM is a much larger company than Cold Steel was. And like I said before, even when Cold Steel was in Lynn Thompson's hands, they were not exactly, known for their amazing customer service. So, is that rust on my Damascus blade? No, maybe that's just blood of my enemies. Okay, so customer service could be improved, and we'd also like to have seen more of what we were promised. But I think that's going to be a supply chain issue as far as getting the stuff in. I don't think they're purposely withholding or anything like that. Also, you got to remember there's a transition there, and I guess getting everything coordinated is going to be a little bit difficult. Now, a couple of the other issues we were worried about. The fans were worried about what's it going to be like. Are they going to go straight to blister packs? Is it going to be like some other companies that have been sold to larger conglomerations? And are they going to lose everything that made that specific company, we're talking about Cold Steel, made it special. And that a lot of that was just the amazingness of the knives, just the fire and that growly feeling you get when you get a cold steel knife in. And so I think what they've done is they got the right guy out there. When they present Stickman or Keith Beam or Beamer, or however you want to talk about him, as the face of the cold steel product now, he really has embraced that energy that Lynn Thompson has. If you watch his videos, if you've ever talked to him like at Blade Show or whatnot, you will see he has that kind of passion. Now, he may not be as knowledgeable about knives yet, but he's soaking it up like Lawnmower Man, and he's just becoming so much a face that all of us that are cold steel knuckleheads can really get behind and can really embrace as somebody who personifies the passion that we have for the product of cold steel. So you see him throwing things, you see him chopping things, you see him, he's talking to Lynn Thompson still, and he's getting all involved with all that. And it really helps us, or helps me at least, as a huge cold steel fan, to get behind the product and stay behind the product. And it also shows that they're trying to kind of keep that whole attitude going. And I think that's awesome. I think that's smart too. I think what you have with the cold steel fans is almost like a cult thing. It's almost like a following where you want that. You want somebody out there who can be pointed to as a symbol of what you feel about the knives, which is just stabbing and chopping and all that throwing and blood and chopping, and wood and everything that Stickman is doing is exactly what I think we were hoping would happen, and it has happened. So I think that's really positive, and the way that they're doing that, and it's getting better. The videos are getting better. And he's, talking to Lynn Thompson. It's all just coming together in as best as we could hope for. So it's not Lynn Thompson. It's not 30 years or 35 years or whatever it is of Lynn Thompson. But, man, it's like almost as good. It's just right there. And it's just, like I said, it's not going to get worse as long as they leave Stickman out there in the front. Now, the other thing I think we're worried about is the quality of the knives. And from what I've seen, now you get around all the, the poo-pooers and everybody that's going to be whiny no matter what. But if you get behind the actual quality of what's coming out, and, like this, they brought back the Talwar, and it's just as locked up. You've seen me beat this thing up. It's just as amazing as the original Talwars. The OU Boone Limited, the OU Boone, as far as flippers. They brought out a bunch of cool knives this year. You're talking about the mini leather necks. You're talking about the mini Tantos they brought out. Let me see what else I got here. Oh, they brought back the mini Recon. They brought back a bunch of stuff that we were wanting them to bring back. And let's see, they had, the Holdout. They brought back the Holdout. They gave us a drop point Voyager, which a lot of us have been clamoring for years. Shoot, the Chaos push dagger is freaking amazing. The one that's just like, I'm talking about. The push dagger. It's awesome. The Formax Elite, shoot. A lot of people were worried about that one. It's a great knife, indestructible, just like the original Formax. Once again, there are going to be people that are going to be unhappy no matter what. They were unhappy with cold steel. They want to find something negative about everything. I'm not generally that kind of person. I'm trying to show you that in like 90% or 95% of the knives that they're putting out are still awesome. And I don't know the ones that, there are a couple that came out this year that I wasn't crazy about. I wasn't super crazy about the Drop Forge Bowie. I might need to revisit that, as, I was kind of looking at it as kind of like a forest knife, kind of like get out and do some camping, and people are telling me it's a fighting knife. I don't know. I'll check that out. If they can bring out the ones that they said they're going to bring out, like the 3V Trailmaster, the Laredo Bowie, the 3V, that's just going to be even that much better. I'm just pumped and excited about those knives big time. I got those on pre-order. So, but the ones that they did come out with, the Holdout, the Talwar, everything like that, they're all right up there in quality. They're all right up there like the old cold steel. They're locked up. You see me beat the mess out of the Elite. You see me beat the mess out of the Talwar, and you saw me beat this one up pretty nicely. This OU Boone Limited is no joke. I beat the mess out of this thing. Go check that video out. So cold steel. Now I know a bunch of you are going, well, he's a cold steel shill or he's a cold steel employee or whatever you're thinking. That is true to a certain extent. But if you go look at my old videos, I'm not saying anything I haven't said before I started doing the cold steel things exclusively. So if you look at what they're bringing, and my whole deal is I'm going to tell you guys the truth, because there's not enough money that cold steel can pay me to help me talk you guys into wasting your money on stuff. I would never do that. I'm telling you right now, cold steel knives are still quality knives. They're still locked up. They're still in that tank knife mode, and now I don't know what they're coming out with in 2022. You know, I don't know what's coming up. Nobody's told me anything. Like I said, it's above my pay grade, and so I'll be exciting like you guys. But as far as what's happened this last year, let's go over that again. Customer service still needs help. We'd still like to see our supply chain of knives come in. You know, it's been a year since we've been promised some of these, and you know, it'd be awesome if we can get some of those in. That may not have been able to be helped. You know, transitions and economies and pandemics and all this stuff, that can all put a damper on what they're wanting to do. Bringing Keith Beam, Stickman, into the fray to be the face of cold steel was, I think, just the smartest thing they did this year. He has gone from being derided and, you know, put down to just really picking up the mantle from Lynn Thompson and just carrying it, and he's just continuing it with the same fervor and fury and just excitement that Lynn Thompson brought, and it's pretty awesome. And if you talk to him, you know, at the shows, you can tell he's really fired up about the product, and he's just fired up as a fired up person, and I think they picked the right man for that. So that's awesome. I'm super excited about that. The knives that are coming out is not all my favorites, like I was talking about, but they've all been quality. I haven't opened up one that I can think of and was like, what's this garbage? They're all still locked up. They're all still reliable. Now everybody's gonna find out there's one, or I got this one and the screw fell out. Well, there's always gonna be some quality issue with every single knife company. I don't know a knife company that you can go on their websites or their Facebook pages and find that somebody was unhappy. And there's always going to be an issue, a real issue with a quality knife. Maybe, you know, 1 out of whatever, 50 or 40 or whatever. And then there's always going to be that one person that's not going to be happy no matter what. Well, my grinds are off. Well, it shaved my skin off, but the grinds didn't look perfect. Or there's always going to be those people. But as far as 95% of the people, 95% of the knives and the quality of what's coming out, it's still there. It's still everything that was there when Lynn Thompson was there. So I don't know, what do you think? Let me down in the comments. Are you excited? Has there been a problem that you've encountered? I'm not talking about like a minor kind of issue. I'm talking about like a major, yeah, we were right last year when we chicken little, sky is falling about cold steel being sold to GSM. Leave me a comment down there. Let me know what you think. I know I bought a bunch of knives this year, and I haven't been unhappy with any of them as far as the quality and durability and the build. Now that, like I said, that Drop Force Bowie was not my favorite, but I think a lot of it is because of my hand size and just the way it felt and what I was trying to use it for. So I'm going to go revisit that one in the future and just try it out as something that's going to be for, you know, self-defense or killing grizzly bears or Sasquatch or tauntauns or whatever I got to do with it. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about. Don't be ugly. Don't be ugly. If you don't got something that's based on fact or based on something that actually happened, don't just come out and start cussing. We're not gonna put up with that. All right. So I think that's it. I just wanted to make this video and just kind of go over this year. I came out last year. I was like, buy, and a lot of things I bought that were old cold steel stuff have maintained their value and gone up in value. So if you're buying old old school cold steel, you know, Towars, and especially the 4Maxes. If you cleaned up on some 4Maxes last year when they're within reason, you could sell them like gold now. I think that's it. Let me know again what you think down there, and I'll talk to you later.